Time now for Michigan's #1 outdoor radio show, Mike Avery's Outdoor Magazine. Outdoor Magazine is brought to you by Jay's Sporting Goods, the Yider Insurance Group, Forward Corporation and T.R. McTaggart, Angler Quest Boats, Security Credit Union, Garber Chevrolet, and by Michigan Brand Meats. Now, here's Mike Avery.
Indeed, this is the big guy, Mike Avery, and welcome to hour number 3 of this week's Outdoor Magazine show right here on the Outdoor Magazine Radio Network. So glad to have you along with us. By the way, Merry Christmas to you. This is the last time you and I will have a chance to talk before Christmas. I say Merry Christmas, not Happy Holidays, not Happy Winter Solstice or whatever. Merry Christmas. And I would ask you to remember that Christmas is more than just Santa Claus and presents under the tree. The reason that we celebrate Christmas is the birth of a Savior. And don't we need a Savior these days? That is for sure. So Merry Christmas to you. I was thinking earlier as I was putting together the rundown for this week's show, and I've been trying to get a hold of Tim Roller for a while, and he's just so incredibly busy because he's got his hands in so many different things. I first met Tim back when I had the TV show, and he was a fishing guide, a fly fishing guide primarily, but a fishing guide in the Manistee. And we went out and did a show with him, and Tim and I really hit it off well, and we've worked together in a variety of relationships ever since then. Of course, Tim went out on his own, did his own TV show, very successful, Whitetail Journey, the website whitetailjourney.com. You might remember, though, that Tim also was the guy who guided an angler to a world record brown trout on the Manistee River. He has taken several trophy whitetails over the year. He is a fishing and hunting educator, and now very much involved in the TV and video world. So he's a guy with a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of expertise, and it's always a pleasure to welcome Tim here to the Outdoor Magazine show. Jim, welcome back. How are you?
I'm doing great, Mike. Good to be back.
Always a pleasure. So listen, I know your deer season is far from over, but how's it going so far?
Good. It's been an interesting season. With everything going on, travel has been a lot lighter for me this year, and I've kind of focused more on Michigan. And I really enjoyed kind of getting back to my roots, if you will, and working that whole angle of it.
Back to your roots, and also now you've got a son coming up who looks like he's just a hardcore hunter too. Yeah,
and that's another reason why I'm sticking a lot closer to home now, because I get to spend more time with him in the woods, and he loves it, and he's a sponge. I mean, he just loves everything about it, and he's really becoming quite the hunter at a he's doing things at 16 that I never even thought about doing hunting wise. So yeah, he's light years ahead of where I was at his age.
Yeah, but look at who his teacher is, Tim. He's got you to learn from.
Well, but I think anybody that has a 16-year-old will know sometimes that's not the way it goes. You know, he's trying to figure his way out, but he's a great kid. I mean, I just am so blessed. Couldn't have. I'm overblessed in what I was given there with him, and so yeah, it's a blast. It's a lot of fun, kind of seeing it through his eyes again. That's been the best part for me, is just reliving that, and the excitement of any deer that walks up with him now is just you can hear it. You can hear it in his breathing. You can feel it, when you watch him, and so yeah, it's so much fun.
Well, and the cool thing is you're sitting there over his shoulder in a tree, and you've got a camera with him, and you guys can record these adventures, not just for the TV show, but now you've got a family document, a video document of these. How cool is that?
It's really cool. And on the flip side of that, though, he's kind of getting to the point now where he's wanting to go out and hunt by himself. And so it was pretty interesting. This year, I filmed everything. He started taking animals when he was 8, as far as turkeys and deer. And so for 8 years, bear, He's killed 2 bear on film with me. He's killed, I don't even know how many turkeys and deer. And we got to this year, and he kind of made the decisions. He says, Dad, I'd like to hunt by myself tonight. Would that be okay? A few times. And, of course, one of the first times, actually, he goes out, and we were sitting a few hundred yards apart, and he ended up killing a beautiful 3.5-year-old buck up here, and the biggest bow buck he's ever killed. And so he was all by himself, and we don't have that one on video, but we've got some pretty cool memories from it.
Oh, very much so. Is he interested in documenting these on camera, or is it something he really doesn't care about?
He's fine with it when I'm sitting there for him to do it, or as far as the future in this, I don't see any of that right now with him, and that's perfectly fine. I'm certainly not encouraging.
No.
Get into this by any means. So. In fact, he's teaching me more about ways to get out of it than I am about him trying to get into it. So,
along that line and following up on that, Tim, even though I've been out of television for a lot of years now, I on a regular basis, I hear from people say, "Hey, Avery, help me figure out how to break into the outdoor TV world." And I do everything I can, Tim, to discourage them against it. I mean, it's just, if somebody has a goal or a dream, they have to pursue it. But if somebody is just half-hearted saying, yeah, I think it looks like fun, man, don't do it, right?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I get asked that a lot, and that's my response as well. I think it's one of those deals. Well, 2 things for me. It is, so I've been, when I started doing it with you, that's over 20 years ago. And really when I started filming hunts, I bought it literally with some graduation money from high school. I went out and bought a video camera. So that was well over 30 years ago, back in the 80s. Geez, it's even longer than that. But I did it simply because I was seeing all this stuff when I'd go out fishing and hunting, and I'd come back and I'd tell friends and family, and it's not that they didn't believe me, but they just couldn't comprehend what I was saying that they believed. So I did it simply to show people what I was seeing. And I became addicted to that. I loved being able to capture the stuff I saw, go back, show it to people, and just look back at it myself. I have this huge library of footage that I shot from, the 80s on, and it kind of morphed from there into starting with you, our DVD series we do with fishing, and then getting into the whole hunting and television production stuff after that. So for me, it has changed so incredibly much, even since we were working together when you took Outdoor Magazine national. It's changed so much since those days. It's become so much more political. It's become so much more, like everything else, but it's just become kind of cutthroat. It's become very impersonal, and those were the things that I really enjoyed about it. And so, and then TV is just changing to begin with. There was no online back then, right? We weren't worried about streaming content, or there wasn't any of that stuff. Anybody with an iPhone now literally has a YouTube channel, and it's amazing what they could do with it. And our iPhones produce better video than we were able to produce, 30 years ago with
absolutely
some $1,000 cameras.
Yeah. In hearing you describe your progression in some ways, though, I mean, your personality is such that if you commit to doing something, you're going to do it all the way. You don't do anything half-hearted. If you're going to do it, it's like, man, I'm going to do this as well as I can, and you end up doing it better than most people.
Well, that's just a product of, that's just who I am, and I think a lot of people that get into this and I'll say this, a lot of people that have been in this for a long time, you have to have those traits. And that's probably one of the most frustrating parts for me is that just doesn't matter anymore. It seems like that's one of the things that's pretty disheartening. Is it the quality, the attention to detail? It just doesn't matter anymore. It comes down to numbers. It comes down to where people can, save a buck or make a buck. And I get business is about, you're in business to do business, to make money, but there are things that are, more important than that. And that's probably just me getting older and realizing some things. But yeah, it is. I love that. And I think I'm finding that freedom apart from that more than I am in it. And so that's kind of where the struggle's coming now for me.
But still, though, you haven't given up video. You haven't given up the art of storytelling with moving images. You're just distributing it in a different way.
Yeah. Yep. That's right. And trying to figure all that out. It's kind of, that's one of the, I guess, little fun things about it is trying to kind of reinvent yourself to fit in with the new generation. At the same time, that comes the argument of, do I want to do that? How much longer do I want to try and adapt, I guess, when I feel like what we've always done is pretty solid. So, yeah, it's always changing. That is the one constant in it. It's always changing.
Well, at least you're probably not old enough where people are starting to ask you, hey, how long before you retire? Because I hear that on a weekly basis now.
Well, you've earned that.
And it's going to be a while.
That's a badge of honor.
It's going to be a while. All right, Tim, hang tight. We got to take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine Show. We're talking with Tim Roller of Whitetail Journey. Whitetailjourney.com is the website, whitetailjourney.com. But do want to remind you, too, that this segment of Outdoor Magazine is brought to you in part by my friends, and actually Tim's friends, too, I believe, at Hunter Safety System. I know the season is starting to wrap up. It's starting to wind down, though. But what a great Christmas present it would be, a Hunter Safety System, a harness or a lifeline. I won't go up a tree without a full body harness on. I recommend Hunter Safety System because I know those guys. They're good Michigan guys. At least they grew up in Michigan. They were the originator of the category, and I think they make the best products out there. But if you're not going to wear Hunter Safety System, please wear somebody's full-body harness. Check them out online at huntersafetysystem.com, huntersafetysystem.com. You can buy their products at Jay's Sporting Goods and on that website, huntersafetysystem.com. And I had somebody the other day say, hey, you're always talking about tree stand safety. Why don't you talk about life jackets? Well, yes, please wear your life jacket, too. All those things to stay safe in the outdoors. More with Tim Roller after the break right here on Outdoor Magazine.
The folks at Yider Insurance Group know you have lots of money invested in your hunting and fishing gear, and they want you to be protected. The Yider family has been in the insurance business for more than 75 years, and they build a reputation for taking great care of their customers. As a full-service agency featuring auto owners insurance, Yider can insure your fishing and hunting gear, your boat, snowmobile, ATV, and trailer, just about everything you depend on for your outdoor adventures. Yider also specializes in protecting outdoor-related businesses, from fishing guides to shooting ranges, anything for the great outdoors. The folks at Yider can help you because they're hunters and anglers themselves, and they know what we need from an insurance company. For more info, go to their website, huntingandfishinginsurance.com. That's huntingandfishinginsurance.com. Or call them toll-free at 800-975-6473. I trust the Yider Group and auto owners for all my insurance needs, because with Yider and auto owners, you've got friends in the outdoor insurance business. Everybody needs to put gas in their tank, so the next time, why not save money with fuel rewards from Forward Shell convenience stores? With fuel rewards, you'll save at least 5 cents a gallon on every fill-up at the 26 Forward Shell convenience stores. Plus, you can earn additional savings with select products and special offers at those Forward stores. You can save 20, 30, even 40 cents a gallon. And the more you use fuel rewards, the more you can save. I use the Fuel Rewards program every time I stop by a Forward Shell convenience store. And you can too. Go to fuelrewards.com. That's fuelrewards.com. You can also download the Fuel Rewards app on your phone. The Fuel Rewards program at your local Forward Shell convenience store. A great way to save money every time you fill up. To learn more, check out forwardconvenience.com. That's forwardconvenience.com. Food plots are a big deal these days, and nobody knows food plots better than the folks at Michigan-based Killer Food Plots. Company owner Nick Percy has worked hard to develop premier whitetail habitat for almost 3 decades. That experience, combined with expertise in building healthy soil and choosing the right seed, will produce the results you're looking for. KFP's natural-based Groganics Fusion Fertilizer and Retain Moisture and nutrient-absorbing pellets can give you the edge in creating food plots to attract and keep deer on your property. Check out their website, killerfoodplots.com. That's killerfoodplots.com. Killer Food Plots can help you get your soil where it needs to be to produce lots of healthy, great-tasting food for wildlife and cover crops to screen your plots and even direct the deer where you want them. This year, take your food plots to the next level with Killer Food Plots. killerfoodplots.com.
It's a complicated world we live in. Right about now, I'll bet your head is spinning like a tornado with news and opinions and conflicting do this and don't do that recommendations. Some days, you just want to throw up your hands, go to the woods, and stay there. And you know, that's not a bad idea. Jay's Sporting Goods encourages you to get back to your roots. Do some simple, traditional things for a while. In Michigan's great outdoors, space is one thing we have plenty of. So put as much social distance as you like between you and everyone else, including all your social media pals who somehow just recently became experts on every topic. And one more thing. Before you head out, head into Jay's Sporting Goods. Because even though there are shortages of a lot of things these days, Jay's has just what you need to make the most of your escape to our beautiful wide open spaces. It's the gateway to social distancing the way God intended. Jay's Sporting Goods, Clare and Gaylord.
You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Houghton Lake on Tuesday. By the way, I heard just the other day that some folks are on the ice on Houghton Lake already. I'm not encouraging that. I'm just reporting it. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Houghton Lake on two stations, the Twister, 92.1 WTWS and 98.5 WUPS, 98.5, a blowtorch station. Very, very powerful station, and I appreciate access to their airwaves as I do WILS in Lansing as well. It's 1320 a.m., and we'll save the rest for him. Save the rest for later. This segment of Outdoor Magazine brought to you by Wilds Plumbing and Heating. From plumbing, heating, air conditioning, sump pumps, ductwork cleaning, you name it. Everything to keep you warm, dry, and comfortable, to keep the mechanics of your house running smoothly. The folks at Wilds can take care of it as they do for me. Check them out online at wildsplumbingandheating.com. That's wildsplumbingandheating.com. While you're online, I would encourage you to check out my website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com. From there, you can get to all the different social media adventures I'm involved in. And I say that because sometimes it is indeed an adventure. And please head over to whitetailjourney.com, whitetailjourney.com, the website of the Whitetail Journey TV show. Tim Roller, the man behind that. Tim, you said that in a normal fall, you'd be traveling to a lot of different states that you didn't get to this year. Now, where would those be? Where did you not hunt this year that you normally would?
Illinois is one that this is the first year I haven't hunted out of state since '95. So, it's been a while. Illinois has been a staple for me. I had plans in Ohio and Kentucky as well this year. So those were the big three out-of-state ones that I was planning on.
So staying back home in Michigan and hunting here in Michigan, which is kind of cool. You already said that was a nice change. Mm-hmm. How does that change your hunting tactics, and does it change your target bucks? Does it change the class of buck that you're willing to take?
Well, it didn't this year, but it's made me realize that I probably do need to reevaluate some things. With here. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm still not. I had a deer here that got me pretty excited this year. The most excited I've been in Michigan in a long time, and I hunted that deer hard. A neighbor kid ended up killing him on the second day of gun season. I had all kinds of trail cam videos, pictures of him. We had a pretty close encounter one night with him while we were bow hunting, and just couldn't get him turned the right way. But, that was fun for me. It's been a long time since I've had a deer like that I had to actually hunt in Michigan. So that was really fun for me this year. But then I and this is just, I don't even remember the last buck I killed in Michigan. So part of that is because I know opportunities that I have when I'm going out of state, but I'm also just past the point where I don't have to shoot a buck. And again, to each their own on that. That's just where I'm at. I like the challenge of hunting, a certain age class of deer. I passed up some really, really good bucks this year. And quite a few of those I know got killed. And that's just the risk you take when you do that. But, I'm hoping cameras will show that some of them made it, and I'm excited to see what they would be next year, and then new deer coming up as well. So But yeah, there aren't the opportunities here that I would have out of state. That deer that I was hunting here this year, that's a deer that in some of the places I hunt out of state, I wouldn't even think about shooting. And I was pretty obsessed with trying to kill him here this year. So it's all perspective. It's all where you are and what you have available to you.
All right, so let me ask you this, and maybe this isn't a fair question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How did you feel when this buck that you had targeted had been after so hard, when the neighbor kid, and I don't know if he was, maybe it was luck, maybe he stumbled into it, maybe he worked hard for it, I don't know, but how did you feel when the neighbor kid took that buck?
I didn't feel one thing as far as disappointed or mad or anything like that. I was disappointed that the chase was over. And that's I'll be honest with you, even when I kill the deer I'm after, I have that feeling. And I know a lot of people aren't going to be able to understand that. I'm very happy when it all comes together. There's a huge sense of accomplishment. Sometimes it's years in the making. Sometimes it's one hunt. It just depends. But when you target a certain age class, and specifically even taking it farther to a specific deer, when it all comes together, it's very gratifying. There's a huge sense of accomplishment there. But it's also, there's this sense of disappointment that it's over. Mm-hmm. And some of these deer I've chased for a long time. And so, you enjoy the chase, the challenge of it. That was the thing with this deer for me. Happy for the kid that shot it. And, it's a buck of a lifetime, really, for him here in Michigan as far as this part of the state. So would I have loved to have killed it? Yep. I enjoyed the chase. I'll guarantee you that. And it got me amped up like I haven't been in Michigan in a very long time. Disappointed that that's over, that when I go out and check my cameras now, I know I'm not going to, have a possibility of seeing him anymore.
I knew that you were going to answer that way, that you certainly were not disappointed that the neighbor kid shot that buck. And the reason I bring it up is we're seeing so much of that these days in the deer hunting world that, hey, that was my buck. I had targeted that buck. I had him on trail camera. I had his sheds. He was my buck. And how dare you shoot my buck? And that's unfortunately, that's become part of deer hunting today in some circles. It
has. And that's kind of one of the things I was alluding to earlier when we were talking about, producing the show and stuff. It's just gotten to the point where there's just so much infighting in the hunting community. Again, I attribute a lot of this to just getting older. And I've been through what I consider to be a better time. For me, it was a better time 20 years ago because there wasn't all this. There wasn't social media where everybody could go on and rant and post and whatever, and so you weren't subjected to a lot of the stuff that you're talking about right now. But yeah, that's kind of the dark side of this. And I don't know where it's going. I don't know if it's changing anytime soon. But I don't like it. I can tell you that I don't like it.
Well, I don't either. And there was a commercial that aired in the break here just a minute ago, or it will in the break coming up, from Jay's Sporting Goods, where they say, in today's world, when all your buddies have somehow become social media experts on everything in the outdoors, it's very disappointing and sometimes frustrating. And when you're in the public eye, like you and I are, sometimes it's just downright maddening because when you are in the public eye, you become the targets of stupid things like that.
Oh yeah, everything I do is I put a picture up, and lesson learned again, right? You think I'd know by now, but I had a night this year where I've had a buck that I know it was a 3.5-year-old this year, and he was kind of a homebody on one of the properties I hunt. And one night he followed a doe in, and I grunted him off, and he come pretty much almost to the base of the tree. And he was a beautiful deer, probably 18 to 18.5 inches inside, just a gorgeous 9-point. No doubt 3.5-year-old. Lots of pictures of him this summer and growing up, and I had him inside 20 yards 2 times this year. And instead of taking my bow off the hook this one particular night, he's standing in the scrape right below me. I pulled out my phone and was just taking pictures of him while we were running video. And I put some of the pictures up and immediately had somebody come on and say, well, we don't have opportunities like that because we're not running bait. And because I had a deer like that and close to me, I obviously was running bait. Well, nothing is further from the truth. I put in countless hours all summer working food plots and transition areas and trying to manipulate my deer to get them to where I am going to be hunting them. And so that's one of the great things for me is manipulating, if you will, or getting deer to do something in July, get them to do that in October, November. That's pretty gratifying, whether I decide to shoot them or not. Just knowing that I put the work in and had them do that. And so those are the types of things, and I see it all the time with people that shoot deer. If they shoot a buck that's anything bigger than anyone else has seen, well, it was obviously a high fence. It was obviously poached. It was obviously whatever. And it's just like, I think social media has an awful lot to do with that. I think there's a certain amount of jealousy that goes with that. There's just a lot of things that play into that, which I just don't want anything to do with.
Did you see any of that when your client, last name Healy, I think, I don't remember his first name.
Healy.
Tom,
yeah,
when
Tom
he took that world record brown, did you feel any of that then?
Oh yeah. I mean, you could still go back because that kind of blew up. That went viral. I mean, that was all over, and there were places like Field and Stream that guy came in and got the rights to the first run photos, and so they had it plastered all over their social media, and other places like that. Big, huge social media presences. Is that a word? Presence on social media, and so you could still go back and see the threads and how the comments blew up on there. Just ridiculous. Everything you can even imagine, and then some probably. It was pathetic. It was pretty demeaning to the people posting them, and I got to believe that's just kind of who they are, and that's what their life is. Living in mom's basement when you're 38 and having nothing but time. I think that's what happens sometimes. But we dealt with it. And it was just, we shrugged it off pretty quickly because we all knew what happened. And obviously it was a fish to be celebrated more than anything.
Well, and since then, I think that world record, it's been broken once, maybe twice, but it doesn't matter because you had an intimate part. You played a huge role in setting a new world record even for a time. So that's pretty darn cool.
It was very cool. Yeah, there was a lot of that was really good for, obviously it couldn't happen to a better person as far as Tom goes. That was the best part of it for me. Being a part of it was pretty cool, and seeing that whole process, I would tell you this, if I had to go through it again, if I had a choice, I don't know that I would.
Wow.
Just because of all that came with it. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It was really good for the state. It was really good for the Manistee. I think if it happens today, I would hope that the state would do it a little better because I think they really missed out on some opportunities there to get the word out on the incredible fishery we have here. And I know there's an awful lot of people saying we don't need more people fishing here and we don't need more people taking advantage of it. Trust me, if you fish the Manistee in the spring or the fall, you're not going to notice if a few more people show up. So, it's just a feather in the cap to what we have here. And I think a lot of people, especially myself, that was one of the things guiding that I really come to realize was when you grow up here, you take advantage or you take full advantage some of the stuff that we have here. We have incredible outdoor opportunities that are not rivaled very many places in this world, especially in this country.
Tim, listen, I got to end our conversation now, but I would encourage people to check out this month's Jay's Sporting Goods podcast, where you and I will have a conversation about late season hunting, postseason scouting and such, and we can go more into depth there. In the meantime, check out Tim's website. It's whitetailjourney.com, whitetailjourney.com. We'll take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine show. Lots more coming up, and of course, we'll wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dave Minar. Coming up right here on Outdoor Magazine. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show in Holland on WHTC, AM and FM, 1450 AM, 99.7 FM. And you can hear us in Saginaw on WSGW, AM and FM, 790 AM, 100.5 FM. In Saginaw, there's been a little bit of a change. The two stations are now simulcast, so my show is on Sunday morning at 9 till noon on both stations. So obviously you found it, but if your friends are asking where it is, please pass that along and let them know. Outdoor Magazine brought to you in part by my friends at Reader Landscaping. I know your landscaping needs are pretty much done for the fall now, aren't they? But hey, it's not too early to start thinking about next spring's project. And there's this little 4-letter word that starts with SN and ends with OW that could be looking at us for the next couple of months. So if you need some help with your snow removal, the folks from Reader can help you out there as well. Check them out online at readerlandscaping.com. That's readerlandscaping.com. I always enjoy my conversations with Tim Roller. I find him to be a very, very interesting guy. We always enjoy our time together. I enjoyed working with him on the Outdoor Magazine television show when he was one of the pro staffers, and then it was obvious that he had bigger plans and he was going to go out and do something on his own, and that was wonderful. I saw that with Tim Roller, I saw that with Mark Romanek, and I saw that with a guy named Gus Congemi, and all three of those guys now all have their own very successful shows, and it was pretty cool just to play some very minor, small role in that with all three of those guys. It was kind of their first introduction into, getting kind of serious about videotaping their hunting and fishing adventures. And look where they've gone now. So that was pretty fun. Also interesting to listen to Tim talk about the changes you go through as you get older. I certainly see those. My hunting and fishing adventures these days are measured by completely different yardsticks than they were when I was a younger guy. And as I talk to people, I think we all go through this. Not younger men, women, it's not gender specific, but those of us who love the outdoors. When you're young, you try to learn how to do something. You try to learn how to fish. You try to learn how to hunt. So that's the first step is, okay, I got to, I almost said master. You'll never master it. You need to try to get proficient at the basics to where you can start being successful when you consider success means catching something or shooting something. Okay, so once you're there, you start, okay, now I want to try to be as good at it as I can, to catch as many fish as I can or shoot as many deer as I can or whatever it is. And then it's okay, all right, well, now I know I'm proficient enough where I can do this on a fairly consistent basis. I want to be more specific now. I want to shoot the biggest deer that I can and hold off on the smaller ones. And I want to target a certain species or a certain size fish or something. And then you get to the old guy point, which is where I am right now. And you realize that the experience is the experience. Being out there is the experience. It's not how many fish you can catch. It's not how big a fish you can catch. It's not how big a deer you can shoot. Although, look, anybody who's out there wants to catch a bunch of fish and you want to catch big fish and you want to shoot big deer. That's just human nature, right? But it no longer ceases to become the most important part. It ceases to become the driving factor. In my case, what has happened is I want to see my son and grandkids shoot as big a deer as they can and catch as many fish as they can. And I just enjoy being out there. Like I was saying in the first hour of the show, I haven't had a shot at a deer this year with my bow or a gun. And I think I've probably only seen a dozen deer the entire season. But it's okay. I'm wrapping up a great season. And even if I don't shoot a deer with my recurve, it's going to be a great season. Because I was able to overcome my personal frustrations with deer hunting today and get back to the basics and be able to get back out there in the deer woods and enjoy the experience. And that's where I'm at. I'm back in the deer woods. I'm hunting deer, still trying to shoot a big doe with my recurve. It's kind of a weird self-inflicted goal that I put on myself, but just being out there. And I think as you get older, you realize that. And I don't know if it's, I hate to be morbid here. I don't know if it's like you realize, okay, I only have a limited number of years probably now that I can be doing this. And in my case, I don't know what it is. Is it 5 years or is it 30 years? I feel physically like I could do it in 30 more years, but I don't know what God's plans are. But you start to look at things in a different way. And that's all good. As long as we're out there, enjoying it, that's all that matters. We'll take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine show. Now I got my mind spinning. Okay, during this whole break, I'm going to be thinking about things. Take a break here in the Outdoor Magazine show. When we come back, wrap it up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dave Minar. I am sure Dave will have another great recipe for us. And listen, if we do catch fish or shoot critters, that's one of the rewards, right? Filling the freezer, putting food on the table. And nobody handles that better than wild game chef extraordinaire Dave Minar. And we'll talk to him after the break right here on Outdoor Magazine. By now, you know all about Angler Quest boats. The center console design, binary wall system, and smooth ride with lots of room have anglers convinced a pontoon can be a great fishing rig. And the folks at Michigan-based Angler Quest continue to make their boats even better. Now, the signature rocket launcher Arch can tilt down. That's great for high water levels, trailering, and storage. Also, there's a new panfish model that's perfect for smaller inland lakes. The popular Pro Troll models continue to dominate big water for walleye, salmon, and trout, and the family fish can keep everyone happy, whether fishing or cruising. All Angler Quest boats are designed by fishermen and made in Michigan by skilled craftsmen using the latest technology. You can learn more online at anglerquestpontoons.com. That's anglerquestpontoons.com. With more models, upgraded designs, plenty of features, and bigger outboards, this is the perfect year for you to join the Angler Quest family.
At Garber Chevrolet in Midland, Saginaw, Linwood, and Caro, we're better for a reason. Like Garber's low price guarantee. Get incredible everyday low prices on a new Chevy Equinox, Silverado, Traverse, or Trax. Think you found a better deal somewhere else? Bring it to us, and we will beat it. Getting more options and choices is always better. That's the benefit of having the Great Lakes Bay region's largest inventory of new Chevrolets. When you shop Garber Chevrolet, you won't have to shop around to find exactly what you're looking for. And Garber Chevrolet's award-winning customer service is in a class of its own. Your needs will always come first. Better prices, better selection, and better service. There's a reason why you'll do better at Garber Chevrolet in Midland, Saginaw, Linwood, and Caro. Home of the low price guarantee. Chevy, find new roads and find a better deal online at GarberChevrolet.com.
You'll do better at Garber.
Have you tried the Mike Avery Hunter Sticks from Michigan Brand Meats? They feature two of my favorites, elk and pepper, and I think they taste great. I've been working with the Grillo family of Michigan Brand for a few years now, and I couldn't be happier. Michigan Brand is family-owned and based right here in Michigan, and they make lots of great products. From jerky, sausage, and those Hunter Sticks to their famous Michigan Brand hams, you can't go wrong with Michigan Brand meats. Plus, Michigan Brand can process your boned-out wild game, too. Check out the website, michiganbrand.net, for more info. That's michiganbrand.net. You can buy the Mike Avery Hunter Sticks on that website. Plus, you can get them at Jay's Sporting Goods, all Forward convenience stores, Jack's Fruit Markets, and many other great stores, too. There's a complete list on the website. Again, that's michiganbrand.net for the Mike Avery Hunter Sticks, the outstanding Michigan Brand hams, and lots more. michiganbrand.net. Security Credit Union wants to thank you for helping to make them one of Michigan's fastest growing credit unions. Check out Security's Debit Rewards program, where you can earn points just by using your debit or Titanium Rewards credit card. Redeem those points for great gifts and merchandise. Or how about the Save to Win account? That's a Security Credit Union account that gives you all the benefits of a traditional savings account, plus the chance to win big. Every $25 you deposit into this share certificate earns you an entry into the monthly and quarterly drawings. The more you save, the more chances to earn. Up to 10 entries per month. You'll build up your savings, earn interest and dividends, and have a chance at multiple prizes. And remember, Security Credit Union loves to work with outdoors men and women, and they can help you with your next outdoor adventure. Check them out online at securitycu.org. That's securitycu.org. Federally insured by the NCUA. You can hear the Outdoor Magazine show on 30 stations across the great state of Michigan. You can hear the podcast version of the show just about anywhere that you can hear your podcasts. Anywhere you get your podcasts. The website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com. You can email me at mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com or hit me up on just about any of the social media outlets, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. I played around with TikTok, but it wasn't for me. And I really don't do that much on Twitter either. Probably Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, the main three that I am using these days. If you've been with me on the show here before, you know that I like to wrap up each week's show with wild game chef extraordinaire Dave Minar. And guess what? He's with us once again. David, my friend, welcome back. How are you?
Pretty darn good, Mike. And yourself?
Hey, doing real good. Listen, we're getting ready here to start kind of wrapping up our Michigan deer season. How's it going for you?
Kind of slow. I was really going to concentrate on maybe taking a doe with a crossbow if I could, possibly. They might be starting now to put on the feed bag, and maybe they'll come to my clover patch. We'll see. Well,
there's an open invitation, Dave. You're just waiting for them, right?
Absolutely, and I got it out there too for everybody to know.
All right, Dave. Well, listen, if you do put a nice big doe down, how about a venison recipe for us?
Well, I got some more comfort food that we've been talking about the last few weeks. I got a venison pot pie.
Perfect.
It is about as comforting food as you're going to get, you know. So this is going to make 2 9-inch pies. So. This is a great way to use a neck roast or some of the other cuts that might have the bone in it, you know, that you have trimmed up, you know. So what you're going to do is brown off. You're not going to do any flouring on it. You're just going to brown the meat off all around on all sides. If you're going to use boneless meat, do the same thing. Cut it up into smaller, like spoon-sized pieces, okay? And then you're going to bring it up, brown it all off real nice, put it in water, bring it up to a boil. And then let that cook slowly until the meat, you can pick it off that neck bones. And this is a great way to do it, you know, because it's got a lot of flavor, but it's pretty tough. So what you're going to do when you get the water in it, you'll notice that a scum is going to start to form as the water becomes hotter. Yeah, you might want to rinse that off once and get rid of that because a lot of times that more strong flavor comes from that. So you want to, if you do that, boil it and then get rid of the scum and then start over, boom, you're going to have some great flavor. You don't need to do that with any boneless meat. So after it's all nice and tender, you want to pick all of that meat off. So you end up with, you might have, say, 3 to 4 pounds of the neck roast. And then by the time you get done, you're probably going to have around 2 pounds of picked meat. So then you're going to need 2 large potatoes, a couple, 3 carrots, and celery and onion. You want to cut them in spoon-sized pieces so it all matches up, you know. About a tablespoon of Italian spice, if you like. About a cup of red wine, 6-ounce package of mushrooms cut into quarters. And grate fresh pepper over it after you get the meat picked off the bones. So you're going to boil them vegetables for maybe 15 or 20 minutes to just kind of get them a little bit tender. So if you've got this all done, you want to let it cool down a little bit. I like to use a couple of jars of beef gravy, or you could use that stock and thicken it up and then add some beef base to that to bring up that flavor. So you're going to take the pie shells. You can buy them already. They're frozen. You just unroll them and put them into your pie plate, your baking thing, and you're going to line the bottom of both of them. Then you're going to mix all of this stuff up, taste it, make sure it's to your flavor. Put it in the shell, and then make sure you take in. You can take a little bit of egg or water, even, and moisten the edge when you lay that other shell on top, and then that's going to help it stick. You can take a fork and make all of them nice little design around the side, and you're going to stick it down. Make a couple of slits in the top, and I'd say it's going to be at least an hour in the 350-degree oven, uncovered, of course. And when it's nice and golden brown and really bubbly, because the meat's pretty tender, the vegetables already started, so they should be nice and tender at this point. Let it set a few minutes before you cut into it, because you want that to kind of reconstitute, and it might not be runny. You want to make sure when you put this mixture in that it's pretty thick, so it's going to be a nice hearty dish, and you can cut it to however many pieces you want. At our place, we would cut it into fourths. Love it. Mm-hmm. And the mixture freezes really good. You could put that in the freezer and make it again without any of the crust or anything, and then just redo it again.
David, sounds wonderful, but all of your recipes sound wonderful, and it's always a pleasure to talk with you.
Well, they're time-proven recipes. I've been doing this for so long, They ought to be good.
I've done it a couple times. David, Merry Christmas to you. We'll talk to you again next week.
You too. Everybody else, be safe out there.
Wild game chef extraordinaire Dave Minar, a big part of the Outdoor Magazine show. One more time, since this is the last time you and I will have a chance to talk before Christmas, I do want to wish you a very sincere Merry Christmas. I will ask you to, once again, remember the reason for the season. I mean, it's nice to have Santa Claus. It's nice to have Rudolph and all that other stuff. But the real reason for Christmas is the birth of a Savior. And, man, in today's world, we'll take all the help we can get. And there is no finer place, in my opinion, to get that help than from Jesus, who is the reason we celebrate this Christmas season. So Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to your family. Have a great week. I hope you have a chance to get outdoors. Check out the website, MikeAveryOutdoors.com, and I will talk with you next time right here on Outdoor Magazine.